Donc, bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Si je peux demander votre attention, s'il vous plaît. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't mind my getting your attention. So, j'aimerais vous souhaiter ce soir la plus cordiale des bienvenues aux élections municipales du Nipissing West 2018. I would like to welcome everybody to the 2018 Municipal Elections of West Nipissing. Un gros merci à toute la foule d'être parmi nous ce soir. C'est le fun de voir qu'il y a tellement de gens qui veulent être informés. Thank you to everybody to be here. It's nice to see that so many people want to be informed tonight. Un merci surtout à tous les candidats des quartiers ainsi que les candidats de la mairie d'être parmi nous ce soir. Thank you to all the candidates of the wards, as well as the mayoral candidates to be among us tonight. Know that it's the second night for the mayoral candidates to be among us. We had the same debate yesterday in Sturgeon Falls at the complex. Donc c'est leur deuxième soirée ce soir d'être parmi nous à répondre à des questions. Donc un gros merci, thank you to everybody. So a little few pointers, des directives et des déroulements, juste de façon qu'on va cheminer ce soir. So know that this evening, this debate was organized by the Chamber of Commerce, Jordan Baker and his team. Un gros merci à toute l'équipe de la Chambre des commerces d'avoir organisé la soirée de ce soir. Sachez que ça demande beaucoup de temps et des heures de préparation, donc un gros merci à eux. Sachez aussi, apparemment, que ça sera filmé ce soir. Malheureusement, il n'y a rien qui est en direct. Nothing is live tonight, though it will be recorded. And again, I think, Jordan, this will be posted online eventually, maybe on YouTube, I'm not sure yet. Donc, tout sera filmé et placé en ligne dans les prochains quelques jours à venir, afin que tout le monde puisse s'informer et visualiser. Donc, la façon que ça va fonctionner ce soir, the way we're going to go ahead tonight is that everybody, all the candidates, the mayoral candidates as well as the ward candidates, donc tous les candidats du quartier ainsi que ceux qui se présentent à la mairie, auront 90 secondes à se présenter. Everyone will have 90 seconds to come up to this mic here and introduce themselves. Sachez aussi qu'il y a des questions qui ont été envoyées à la Chambre des commerces auparavant, dans les dernières quelques semaines, qui ont été triées, sélectionnées. So some questions have been predetermined or preset to the Chamber of Commerce, selected, and that will be asked at first, and this will compromise the first part of the evening. Ensuite de ça, si vous avez d'autres questions à poser, for those of you who have other questions that you want to ask, know that in the back of the hall here, there are submission forms and pens. Donc, il y a des stylos et des formulaires de soumission où vous pouvez écrire vos questions et les amener à la table ici si vous voulez que vos questions soient posées. Malheureusement, know that because of the amount of, and hence we had to do this 2 nights because of the amount of candidates for this year's election, we probably won't be able to ask all the questions, mais on vous encourage quand même à poser vos questions et de les écrire et de les soumettre à la Chambre des communes. What else do I need to tell you? Sachez que les candidats auront un temps alloué, puis ça c'est surtout, je m'adresse surtout aux candidats, il va y avoir un certain temps alloué, so a certain allotted time will be allowed to answer questions. The mayoral candidates will have, I think, an average 90 seconds to answer questions, whereas the ward candidates will have 60 seconds to answer the questions. Il y aura des questions qui seront spécifiques à un quartier. Donc, certain questions will be asked to the candidates in certain wards, specific to the candidates in one ward or the other. And same as for the mayoral, it'll be just for all 4 mayors. All the candidates, tous les candidats, M. Demers, encore si je peux emprunter votre carte, have received, and I will give it back, I promise, M. Demers, almost grabbed it out of my hands. Tous les candidats ont reçu 3 de ces cartes-là, c'est des cartes pour réfuter. So it's rebuttal cards. Donc lorsqu'un candidat va être en train de répondre à une question, when a candidate will be answering a question, un autre candidat, if he wants to rebuttal, s'il veut répondre à la question, peut lever la carte. Nous avons parmi nous Sylvain Bilodeau, pas le même Sylvain, qui a fait un excellent travail. Sylvain ira chercher la carte, puis le candidat qui lève sa carte pour réfuter, so the candidate that decides to use his rebuttal card will have 30 seconds to rebuttal the previous candidate's comments ou les réponses du candidat qui avait répondu en premier. Donc, il y en a 3 pour chaque candidat. Je vous la remets, M. Dennis. Sachez aussi que toutes les questions, every question will be asked in both French and English. I will be translating on the spot because I'm only receiving the questions either in French or in English, so bear with me. S'il vous plaît, laissez-moi quelques secondes à essayer de traduire la question à mesure que je la pose. À part de ça, le candidat, the candidate will have the choice to answer the question in the language of his choice, either French or English, or both. Aside from that, I think we're ready to go ahead with the debate. So I will introduce the first person that will come up to the mic tonight with having 90 seconds. Donc, le prochain candidat aura 90 secondes afin de se présenter. J'invite donc au micro ce soir M. Ronald Demers.
Merci Daniel. Ma vie en 90 secondes. Natif de Verner, fils de cultivateur, 11e d'une famille de 15 enfants, époux de Claire, parent de 7 enfants et de 8 petits-enfants. Employé par la compagnie Warehouser jusqu'à sa fermeture, machiniste de métier. My old mechanic said that I was frugal, cheap en français. And for that reason, he would vote for me. He said, if you're as careful with your taxpayers' money as you are with your own, you will be a good mayor. La devise choisie pour cette campagne, la confiance nous rassemble, trust brings us together. Sans cette confiance, rien ne se réalise. Trust is earned, it's not commanded. Je crois que mon expérience comme conseiller scolaire, d'avoir présidé le conseil, mes expériences de vie, d'époux, de père, de grand-père, propriétaire d'entreprise, me qualifient pour vous représenter comme maire. While a trustee, whenever I would need to travel, I would more often than not travel by bus. But I never threw anybody under it. In closing, I wish to affirm to you that if there is a slate, I do not belong to it or partake in their activities or agenda. Je suis indépendant. J'anticipe que vous aurez des questions et qu'il me fera plaisir de les répondre, de les adresser. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, M. Demers. Thank you, Mr. Demers. I will just add a little something before we introduce the next candidate. I don't know if you noticed that Mr. Michael Dupree, who will be the timer for tonight, thank you, Michael, for being here again tonight, a levé un drapeau jaune, ensuite un drapeau rouge, en premier un drapeau vert. Donc ces drapeaux-là, what those flags indicate is that as soon as the candidate starts talking, Mr. Dupree will raise the green flag, as in go. Ensuite, il va lever le drapeau jaune lorsqu'il reste 15 secondes. So when the candidates have 15 seconds left to answer, the yellow flag will come up, and after that, you'll see the red flag when the allotted time, donc le temps alloué sera écoulé, when there's no time left for the candidate to answer. If the candidate does continue to talk after the red flag, apparently that's where I have to come in. So I'm out of shape, I'm 45 now, so please let's not get physical over this. And it's just to make sure that it's fair for everybody and that we do end at the end of the day. We plan on ending around 9 o'clock, and my wife said it's a school night, so my curfew is still on the go. I'm sorry about that. So let me introduce the next candidate for tonight. S'il vous plaît, accueillez M. Russell Dunn.
Merci. I'm going to say it right off the bat. Je suis comprends français. Je parle pas trop bon. Excusez-moi pour répondre les questions en anglais. My name is Russell Dunn. I'm 60 years old. I'm a retired businessman. I'm here because West Nipissing welcomed me with open hearts and arms, and I would like to return that same favor by offering my services as mayor of this community and try my best, with your help, to make it a better place for all of us. Thank you.
Accueillez s'il vous plaît maintenant le prochain candidat à la mairie, M. Donald Leblanc.
Bonjour tout le monde, je m'appelle Donald Leblanc. Je pense que beaucoup de vous qui me connaissent. So my name is Donald Leblanc. I was born and raised in West Nipissing, Surgeon Falls. I've been in business for 19 years, so I think a lot of people know me through Don's Butcher Shop. As an elected mayor with myself, you will have honesty. Je vais vous garantir que je vais être honnête. I will have fairness, guarantee, and open-mindedness. Je vais être ouvert. I've always been in the public eye, and becoming mayor ne changera pas ça. I will still be accessible to the public. Je vais toujours être accessible. Je suis là pour le public. En étant maire, je vais être là pour vous. J'ai mis mon nom pour devenir maire parce que je veux vous représenter. I'll be ready to listen to your concerns, answer questions, and work for you. I've been known to give 100% of my time, effort, and dedication to my businesses and helping support various organizations prove that. J'ai aidé beaucoup d'organisations. Je pense que dans toutes les wards, j'ai probablement aidé. Ah ben là, je suis comme Lise.
Just know, Mr. Leblanc, that I've been asked to do this. Hérite personnel addition. Next Friday when I have lunch, my prices won't raise for that. It's in the chicken burger. Veuillez accueillir maintenant, mesdames et messieurs, notre quatrième candidate à la mairie, Madame Joanne Savage.
Bonsoir, good evening. Je suis fière de dire que j'ai été née à Field. Je suis résidente de Verner et j'ai travaillé toute ma carrière dans l'environnement de Sturgeon Falls. I have the knowledge of the small communities and the assets of the small community. I am a rural resident and understand the various needs and also the appreciation and the wealth of each different communities within West Nipissing. Mon engagement est de continuer à soutenir l'importance et le bien-être de vos communautés, de continuer à travailler avec vous. I have the time, I have the energy, a positive attitude, the experience, and the knowledge. I am now retired, and most of all, I have the passion for the vitality and the progress of our communities, and for you, the great people of West Nipissing. As mayor, I have heard you. You want to be informed, you want to be engaged. I will be coordinating community sessions in each communities every 2 months. Your feedback will be critical for the future and the progress of West Nipissing. I invested countless hours, always committed, devoted, and also made sure to work for your achievements. There's no denying that in the last 2 years, there were matters unforeseen that were challenged. However, it didn't prohibit me from remaining strong and committed, and the tools were not there to engage an entire council. This time around, I can promise you the leadership will be at the table. It is legislative mandated to have a code of conduct, and we will work professionally, respectfully, to address your issues and your needs. Thank you, bonsoir, and thanks.
Now let's move on to the candidates for the wards. Now I know that yesterday we heard, for those of you who were there, we heard from the candidates from Ward 1 through 5, or pardon me, 4. Ce soir, nous allons entendre les candidats des quartiers 5 à 8. So for Ward 5, please let me introduce the first candidate for Ward 5, Monsieur Denis Webber.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Je ne peux pas être obligé de te présenter. La plupart me connaissent ici. Je suis né de Field. Je suis né à Field. J'ai travaillé et j'ai travaillé encore puis ma retraite à Field. J'ai fait mon secondaire, ensuite j'ai joint les forces canadiennes, j'ai fait des tours aux Nations Unies pour régler des conflits. J'ai travaillé souvent avec ça, d'une armée à l'autre. Fait que je crois que je suis capable d'essayer de réparer s'il y a des conflits qui se passent. Ensuite, pour mon expérience, en travaillant avec le canton de Field, ensuite, après l'agrégation avec Nipissing West, la plupart de vous me connaissez, vous savez la façon dont je travaille et je vais continuer de la même façon. Merci, monsieur.
Merci, M. Boisvenu. Laissez-moi vous présenter maintenant le second candidate for Ward 5, Mr. Christopher Fisher.
Hello, bonjour. Classic job interview question. What are your weaknesses? My answer, public speaking. So, I'm Chris Fisher. I moved to Field with my wife, Julie, 12 years ago. We've had 3 children, and they attend school in French school in River Valley. I'm currently a volunteer. I'm a volunteer firefighters in Station 4, and I've worked previously with West Nipissing Council as a volunteer on the Economic Development Committee. Prior to moving here, I worked in Toronto in the head offices of the Bank of Montreal and CIBC doing internet banking and information security, as well as strategic sourcing, which is finding ways to procure things and save money. My education, I have I did 3 years in Bachelor of Education. I did a Bachelor of Science. I have a Master's degree in Business and a certificate in Project Management. As you can tell, I hate public speaking. So I think my accomplishments and backgrounds, actually, my experience lends me it's a good base to work on the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Now, we're going to go ahead with the candidates for Ward 6. Sachez qu'il y aura 3 différents candidats pour le 6e quartier. And let me introduce the first one, Mr. Chris Anderson.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here running for Ward 6. I currently feel like I have to donate my time to help fix some of the problems in West Nipissing. I've lived in West Nipissing my entire life. I was born and raised in Ward 6, and I think it's time that I help out as best I can. I'd like to thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. The second candidate for Ward 6, laissez-moi vous présenter Mr. Paul Finley.
Merci Dan et bonjour tout le monde. C'est un plaisir d'être avec vous ce soir. Je fais des études français au Collège Boréal, mais je ne parle pas les couramment. Alors, avec votre permission, je me continuerai en anglais. Why am I running? Because I care about the future of our community, about you, your families, and the future here of West Nipissing. What are my qualifications? Over 30 years in community and economic development. My values: honesty, trust, transparency, integrity, and respect for you. I'm a strategic thinker. I will listen and make sure your concerns and opinions are heard at the West Nipissing Council. As I am recently retired, I'm also available to work as your full-time counselor. What are the issues? Lack of consultation, communication, transparency, and a caring attitude by West Nipissing Council. Lack of vision in key areas, youth retention, how seniors can stay in their homes. Lack of comprehensive strategies in economic development, small business, arts, culture, and tourism. Crumbling infrastructure, lack of connectivity, roads, old and outmoded telephone systems, and the like. Lack of services in the rural areas, dumps that are filling up and they're never open. No streetlights in critical pedestrian residential areas. Seasonal roads, which residents much beg to have plowed. Taxes that are rising 400% to 500% over the terms of our amalgamation. Many seniors have been forced to sell and remortgage their homes. This and more will be discussed. I'm looking for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. Finalement, le troisième et le dernier candidat du 6e quartier, laissez-moi vous présenter M. Roland Larabie.
Okay, Dan. Bonsoir, good evening. My name is Rose. I'm married to a wonderful woman, Helene, for 35 years. She is a registered nurse at the West Nipissing General Hospital in the oncology department. We have 3 wonderful sons, and all remarkable in their own ways. 5 grandchildren, 4 girls, and 1 boy. And he received a lot of hugs. I'm a lifelong resident of West Nipissing, took over a family business for 20 plus years, and currently work as a heavy equipment operator. I've been very fortunate to represent Ward 6 for the last 4 years, make this great decision in protecting municipality taxpayers, and especially my ward. Most politicians promises to build bridges between communities. I can honestly say I made it happen. I am very proud to have initiated the OPP costing and having voted yes to the OPP policing West Nipissing and saving $800,000 per year and going from a local force of 20 uniform officers to 60 uniform officers with all of the specialized equipment. I'm seeking another mandate from you to continue the hard work we began. And as your voice on council, I will continue to advocate for rural areas of this great community. So remember, a vote for Rowley is a vote for action. Thank you, merci, and we wish.
Merci beaucoup, M. Larabie. Let me now introduce the second candidate for Ward 7, donc le deuxième candidat du quartier 7. Accueillez s'il vous plaît Monsieur Normand, oui, deux, quartier 7, 2 candidats, je ne me suis pas trompé, Normand Roberge.
Bonsoir, good evening. Merci au comité organisateur de l'initiative de nous offrir l'opportunité de présenter nos points de vue et nos ambitions pour nos communautés respectives vis-à-vis des élections municipales 2018. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for taking the initiative to offer all 10 candidates the opportunity to express their opinion regarding matters that they feel important for their respective communities in relation to the 2018 municipal election. Marie-Élise, depuis 52 ans, notre union a été enrichie par la naissance de 3 enfants. Nous sommes maintenant grands-parents de 3 petits-enfants et arrière-grands-parents d'une adorable prostituée. J'ai été employé de la Banque nationale pendant 3 ans. J'ai ensuite œuvré pendant 41 ans dans le secteur municipal à titre de responsable des dossiers financiers. Je suis membre invité de l'Association des greffiers municipaux. Je reconnais depuis toujours l'importance du bénévolat dans une communauté comme la nôtre en y impliquant activement et comme membre honoraire à vie, titre qui m'a été décerné par le Chevalier Colomb Conseil 90-49. Ce serait un honneur de m'accorder votre vote aux prochaines élections municipales afin de compléter des projets déjà commencés. Je veux continuer à vous servir votre dévoué candidat pour le quartier 7.
Merci beaucoup, M. Roberge. Let me now introduce the second candidate, le deuxième candidat pour le quartier 7, Ward 7, second candidate, M. Jérémy Séguin.
Merci tout le monde. Gros merci d'être ici aujourd'hui. On a finalement la chance d'avoir un vrai processus démocratique à Verner pour la première fois dans 12 ans, 8 ans, 12 ans. Alors, merci, c'est une belle soirée historique. My name is Jeremy Seguin. I moved to Verner approximately 5 years ago while looking for nice housing so that I could work at Collège Boréal here in Sturgeon Falls and also allow my beautiful wife to work as a teacher in Warren. Joan Paquette, which is somebody that local people might know, really encouraged me to move to Verner because of the nice community atmosphere, and she was right. 5 years later, I do believe all of the things she said. Now the first question, la première question que le monde me pose lorsqu'il me voit, c'est « T'es qui? » Puis, t'es parenté à quel Séguin? OK?
Je ne suis pas parenté, malheureusement, avec aucun des Séguins dans la communauté. Ma parenté, c'est surtout dans la région de Timmins puis Rouyn-Noranda. Alors, un bon bout d'ici. In those 5 years that I've been living in Verner, I've had the honor of being a coach for 3 years, being the president of the Verner Minor Hockey Association for 2 years. I've had the opportunity to do a lot of volunteer work, fundraising for children's events, a lot of things with youth, because now I have to go. So I will talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Jeremy. Although you didn't get the chance to finish as well as other candidates, know this, that at the end of the evening, you will have a chance to mingle. Vous allez avoir la chance de jaser avec les candidats qui seront parmi nous dans la salle si vous avez des questions et vous voulez continuer à jaser avec eux. Donc, je vous présente maintenant, on passe au 8e quartier, the 8th and final ward. 3 candidats, so we have 3 candidates for that ward. Je vous présente la première. Accueillez s'il vous plaît Mme Paulette Cochrin.
Merci tout le monde d'être présent ce soir. Je me présente, je suis native de Sudbury, mais ça fait depuis l'âge de 12 ans que je suis à la ville. Voilà pourquoi je m'efforce de protéger les intérêts depuis tant d'années. Épouse, mère de famille de 5 enfants, et grand-mère de 4 beaux petits-enfants. Je suis une résidente de longue date, alors je connais les intérêts et les inquiétudes de tous nos résidents. Aussi bien à Moneteville qu'à la Vigne, partout dans l'Ouest Nipissing. Il fait bon vivre. C'est pourquoi que je vous offre la chance d'avoir enfin un choix. C'est pour ça que je remercie beaucoup tous les candidats qui se présentent pour ces élections cette année. Vous avez enfin le choix. La démocratie va prévaloir. I want to help the fixed income residents get the support services they need. I also wish to promote and develop our local tourism and agricultural industries and ensure a strong voice for these sectors on a municipal council. Je suis prête. Je m'engage à soutenir les initiatives familiales de nos communautés et d'assurer une place où il fait bon vivre. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Mme Cochrin. Laissez-moi vous présenter maintenant le deuxième candidat, the second candidate for Ward 8. Accueillez s'il vous plaît M. Guy Fortier.
Bonjour tout le monde. Unlike most of the people at this table, I'm not from here. I was born in Manitoba, grew up in Germany, grew up in Trenton, Ontario, and eventually moved up here because I chose to. J'ai choisi le village de la Vigne parce que c'est un village qui m'a parlé. Quand j'ai rentré dans la taverne que j'ai achetée la première fois, je savais que c'était chez moi. C'était chez nous le village. I bring with me a passion. Everything I do is driven by passion. The music that I bring to the tavern, the commitment I bring to the village, the commitment I bring to the municipality. I want to leave this place better than when I found it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fortier. And finally, let me introduce the third and final candidate for Ward 8. Accueillez s'il vous plaît, Madame et Monsieur Denis Sénécal.
Bonsoir, good evening. My name is Denis, I'm native of Sturgeon Falls. I have 2 children, Diane and Joelle. I am bilingual. I now live in La Ville. I have spent most of my summers as a youngster at my uncle's camp on Putchie Road in La Ville. I worked at the paper mill in Sturgeon Falls for 24 years, where I studied to become a stationary engineer, working in the steam plant and the powerhouse. I was also elected president of the local union for many years. I negotiated a few labor contracts without strikes, thank God. J'ai travaillé très fort contre la fermeture du moulin en 2002. J'ai fait partie du comité de développement économique de 2002 et 2003. J'ai eu l'honneur de travailler avec M. Wade Poulin. Ensuite, j'ai travaillé quelques années dans les arènes à Sturgeon et North Bay. J'ai complété ma carrière de travail avec le ministère comme inspecteur, avec le ministère du Travail comme inspecteur de santé et sécurité pendant 12 ans. I volunteered as a hockey coach, a baseball coach. I enjoy fishing and hunting, playing hockey and golfing. All this work experience has brought me before you tonight. Toute cette expérience de travail m'a amené devant vous ce soir. It's a great honor, c'est un grand honneur. Merci.
Merci, Monsieur Sénécal. Thank you all candidates for that great introduction. Nous passons maintenant aux questions. I'd like to thank all of you who did submit your questions to the Chamber of Commerce in advance. Donc, un gros merci à vous tous qui ont présenté ces questions. Now, a little reminder that some of the questions will be intended for certain groups, either certain wards or the mayoral candidates. Donc, certaines questions seront à l'intention des candidats pour certains quartiers ainsi que ceux à la mairie. Je vais vous laisser savoir avant que je pose la question. So this first question is intended for the 4 mayoral candidates. Donc, la prochaine question est à l'intention des 4 candidats à la mairie. L'ordre des réponses seront la suivante, mesdames et messieurs. Monsieur Demers répondra en premier. Mr. Dunn will be the second to answer. Monsieur Leblanc sera le troisième. Et finalement, Madame Savage est la dernière à répondre. Here is the question, and again, I'm translating on the spot, so please bear with me. Question is, when did you tour the surrounding villages, or when you plan on touring the surrounding villages to promote what you intend to do? Donc, quand est-ce que vous avez tourné les villages environnants, ou quand est-ce que vous qualifiez de tourner les villages environnants afin de présenter votre plateforme? Monsieur Damas.
Merci pour la question. Je suis vraiment choyé parce que mon travail dans l'installation de tentes m'apporte partout dans la région. Alors à ce moment-là, quand on installe une tente, c'est pour des fêtes, c'est pour que les gens puissent se rencontrer et s'amuser. Alors on a la chance de rencontrer beaucoup de gens de cette façon-là. Il y a eu là aussi l'exercice d'aller poser des pancartes, qui est toujours plaisant, mais les gens d'immeubles n'aiment pas trop ça. Ils ont bien hâte que ça disparaisse. Ce qui en est de frapper aux portes, c'est un exercice qui est plus facile peut-être pour les quartiers que pour quelqu'un qui se présente à la mairie. Mais j'ai l'intention d'en faire parce que ma saison de tente est presque achevée. Alors à partir de là, j'ai l'intention de continuer à rencontrer les gens. Puis il y a tout l'exercice de retirer les pancartes aussi. Alors on va être obligé, même si on ne veut pas, de rencontrer ces gens-là encore. Alors, l'occasion de rencontrer les gens, c'est pas seulement dans les quartiers, c'est pas seulement dans des rencontres comme ça, mais c'est partout où on va, puis sur la rue, puis on peut côtoyer avec eux autres et jaser. Au Café Thames aussi, et je ne fais pas ça en annonce pour la compagnie. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, M. Demers. Entendons maintenant la réponse à la même question from Mr. Russell Dunn. Mr. Dunn, please.
I, being a new resident here, have had the joy of taking the hot rod out for a spin and going through all the field. Trying out the roads, enjoying the countryside, even doing some fishing. But now, I have friends in these areas. It's time I went out, pounded the pavement with my feet, and got introduced to all you beautiful people. I hope you don't mind my very, very broken French. But the idea is to hear what you have to say about what I can help you accomplish here, whether it be a bad road, bad ditches, taxes are too high, maybe some street lights. I am here because you want me here. I want to be best to help you people get what you deserve. My wording may not be perfect, but I want what's best for West Nipissing. I want you all to be happy, and I'll do my best to achieve that goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dunn. Accueillez maintenant M. Donald Leblanc à répondre à la même question.
Oh, bonjour encore, c'est encore moi. Je vais essayer de faire ça dans 90 secondes. Alors, il n'y a pas de doute, I'm in the public eye. Je suis tout le temps dans le public à cause de mes commerces. Alors, I see a lot of people here that I know, they have lodges, they have farms, and I mean, being in the public eye, I meet them almost every day in my businesses. They address their concerns, and I listen to them. That's one of the qualities I have. La meilleure qualité que j'ai, je pense, c'est que j'écoute aux gens. Je suis bien reconnu pour ça, et je suis en faveur de faut écouter, sans ça on n'avancera pas. Also, I had a resident from Ward that was in my businesses actually 2 weeks ago, and she did address a concern in one of the wards. And actually, I will be visiting her or him this week or next week, making my tour, and I will try and address that concern, see what it's all about, and if I'm elected mayor, I will address it with my council or my administration board. So that's what we're here for. We're here to help you out. Lodges. We seem to be missing the boat here. We're not talking about business people. We have lodges, we have farmers, we have businesses in West Nipissing. We got to think of those people. We're the ones that are growing.
Merci, M. Leblanc. La chicken burger combo fire with the person. Merci, M. Leblanc. Accueillez maintenant Mme Joanne Savage à répondre à la même question.
I submitted my nomination mid-June, la mi-juin. At that point, I started going out to meet with business operators, with lodges, and knocking at doors. My objective is to reach 3,000 doors by October 22nd. I've attained half of that so far. And I also have to say that I'm also maintaining my commitment as mayor presently. And I also am very active in all communities of West Nipissing. I'm a people person, and if I want to make a difference, si je veux faire une différence pour travailler pour vous, je dois savoir c'est quoi vos besoins. And I say thank you so much for the privilege that I've worked on your behalf for many years, but looking forward to another 4 years and dealing with the issues and dealing with the various communities so we can move forward et avoir un avenir prometteur. Merci.
Thank you, Mme Savage. Nous avons une carte de réfutation de la part de M. Leblanc. Donc, M. Leblanc, vous avez 30 secondes à réfuter. 30 seconds to rebuttal.
I understand we're all running for mayorship, and we're running to make a better community, to help all you people out. So when I hear that in the next month or so, we're going to be knocking at 3,000 doors, why do we have to wait for an election to knock at 3,000 doors? Should have been done during the past 4 years.
Merci beaucoup, M. Leblanc. So this next, do we have another rebuttal card? Pardonnez-moi, Mme Savage. So 30 secondes à réfuter. Mme Savage. We'd like, please keep your attention, please, in order for us to move on.
Well, if anyone knows who I am and what I've done throughout the many years, no one can deny that I've been extremely committed, devoted. And there's one thing, even the member of provincial parliament said, and has stated publicly, if there's one mayor in all of the writing of Cochrane to Miskaming that is so committed, it's the mayor of West Nipissing. And I will continue to be your voice and to listen to what you say, because that's the direction that we need to take to work on your behalf. Merci, thank you.
Passons maintenant à la deuxième question. So the second question is intended for the candidates for Ward 5 and 6. So here's the order of the answers. L'ordre des réponses selon la suivante. On va commencer avec M. Denis Boisvenu, followed by Mr. Christopher Fisher. Then Mr. Chris Anderson will answer, followed by Mr. Paul Finley, and finally, Monsieur Roland Larabie. Vous aurez la chance de finaliser avec la réponse de votre question. So here's the question. What is your vision for your ward moving forward? What do you have planned for it once you are in office? Donc, quelle est votre vision pour le quartier pour lequel vous vous présentez? Et qu'est-ce que vous avez de planifié si jamais vous êtes élu?
Bonsoir. Oui, ma vision, c'est de, surtout dans notre quartier qu'on est 5 et 6, la priorité, ce sont les chemins. On peut travailler, on peut bâtir d'autres choses, on peut faire de l'infrastructure, mais il faut s'y rendre. Et ensuite, ce qu'on voit dans ces chemins-là, il y a beaucoup d'ouvrages à faire. Je crois qu'on pourra en faire beaucoup plus même avec ce qu'on a, sans monter les taxes, à cause qu'il y a peut-être des personnes qui n'ont pas vraiment les qualifications. Il faudrait enseigner à nos employés comment s'y prendre pour mieux travailler nos chemins. Un commentaire? Parce qu'il y en a qu'un qui parle pas. Ensuite, on peut améliorer de beaucoup de nos chemins. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Mr. Verner. A little reminder that the ward candidates only have 60 seconds to answer compared to the mayoral candidates who have 90, donc 60 secondes. Pardonnez-moi, M. Verner, pour vous laisser savoir d'avance. Prochaine personne à répondre, Mr. Christopher Fisher. Same question. Thank you.
I don't need to make Ward 5 great again. It's already great. Thank you. Just kidding. Okay, so Ward 5's got a lot of active individuals in it, a lot of dedicated people. We've got lots of groups. We've got the Field Economic Development Committee, we've got the Recreation Committee, we've got the Raise the Roof Committee, we've got the Clear Lake Cottage Association, Knights of Columbus, First Responders, Garden Gun Club, and that's not an exhaustive list. So there's a lot of people with a lot of energy and a lot of vision, and it's my job to bring their vision forward and to bring the resources of the municipality to that collective vision. Specifically, there are people in the field that would really like to see a roof on our rink, and as well as there's people discussing the Frank Barone bilingual country music festival, and I myself would like to bring French lessons back, as they've just reintroduced in North Bay, and I think this would be good for West Nipissing as a whole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fisher. Let's pass the mic now to Mr. Chris Anderson. Same question, même réponse. Même question.
The people in my ward all have the same focus, which is the roads. I think for this time that council needs to bring more to the table for people in the wards. So I've started a Facebook page for the people in our wards, closed to them, so that any concerns that they have can be brought to the Facebook page, and answers can be given to these people in that on the Facebook page. I think the time is, the technology is there, and it's time for the people to get the answers as soon as they ask them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Let's now hear Mr. Paul Finley's answer.
Based on what I've already said in my opening address, I'll continue to pursue the process of consulting with individual residents and groups on issues including things like connectivity, safety, winter roads improvements, and so on. But I think ultimately what we want to do is we want to start discussions which will lead to the formation of community councils, where there can be regular input. This hopefully will occur in tandem with the development of the municipality's new strategic plan and vision, which I'm going to push very hard for. Notwithstanding, it will be inclusive of the needs and wishes of all rural residents. The bottom line is democracy is more than paying your tax bill and voting once every 4 years. It should happen all the time, and I'm going to ensure that happens with people in Ward 6.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. And finally, attendons la réponse maintenant. Non, tout de suite. Donc, we have 30 seconds, Mr. Anderson, you have 30 seconds to rebuttal.
Just like Mr. Finley, I've been around speaking to the people of my ward, and I don't believe Mr. Finley represents his ward. I've been around and I've spoken to over 586 members of my ward. Mr. Finley hasn't been very honest with the people in the ward, and I think it's time that he tells them where he stands on certain issues that are in regards to this.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. If there are no other rebuttals, entendons maintenant la réponse du candidat, le dernier candidat, M. Ronald Larabi. M. Larabi, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you. My vision is to continue improving our roads, the ditching, and the replacement of needed culverts. I have met 3 times with the Minister of Transportation and plan on continuing these meetings in order to continue improving our roads in our ward, like the 539, 539A, Highway 805, Kipling West, and more. I also plan on seeing the free store at every waste site in West Nipissing as a whole, so that residents may have good materials for free, which is the cheapest way to recycle. Furthermore, I also plan to work with other members of council, as well as the mayor, to assure that Ward 6 plays a prominent role in our community.
We have another rebuttal card. Écoutons maintenant la réfutation de...
Thank you. I take exception with the criticism that gets pretty personal from the gentleman to my right. Little does he know, because he hasn't been around very long, he's been living in Sturgeon Falls and not living in Kipling, that I was the guy that started the recycling program for West Nipissing. I was the guy that kept the dumps open. I was the guy that led to the creation of 2 wards out of the former unincorporated areas. I was the guy that developed the roads plan, which is currently in place, that the municipality follows for the capital upgrading and maintenance of all its roads. And I've done a lot of other things, both personally and otherwise, for people, so I take objection.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. Réfutation encore, si vous permettez. Réfutation encore de la part de M. Anderson. Mr. Anderson, you have 30 seconds to rebuttal.
I've spoken to 593 people in our ward. Out of all those people, I would say you spoke to at least 95% of those people. Not once have you told where you stood on certain issues, and many times have avoided different issues that you should have been honest with them from the beginning. I can give you a bunch of numbers, and 82% of your constituents are in favor of the OPP.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. If there are no further rebuttals, nous allons passer maintenant à la deuxième question. Celle-ci, mesdames et messieurs, sera à l'intention des quatre candidats qui se présentent à la mairie. So this next question is intended for the 4 mayoral candidates. The order of the answers will be the following. We will start with Mr. Dunn. Second answer will be Mr. Leblanc. Third will be Madame Savage, and finally, Mr. Demers will get the chance to answer at the end. So here's the question, and it's a 2-part question. Again, bear with me for the translation afterwards. 2-part question, ladies and gentlemen. How will you support the decision rendered in regards to the OPP instead of municipal police? Second part, if you may. Will the municipality be transparent in regards to costs for both potential scenarios moving forward? Donc la question en français est la suivante. Comment est-ce que vous allez supporter la décision de se servir des services de la police provinciale plutôt que de la police municipale? Et deuxièmement, est-ce que la municipalité sera transparente par rapport aux coûts qui seraient nécessaires pour utiliser chacun des 2 services? You have 90 seconds, Mr. Dunn. Go ahead.
90 seconds per part?
No, 90 seconds altogether, I'm sorry.
As I had a Facebook interview, I'm on the fence on this. I feel that this OPP decision was not as well informed as it should have been. All the cards should have been on the table. How much it costs from at the start and how much it will cost at the end. I am sorry, but I am on the fence of this. I've seen what happened in Kirkland Lake. The OPP do a bang-up job. West Nipissing police do a bang-up job. One thing I know for sure, we had that shooting a couple of weeks ago. Services were called in from the OPP. They will be billed. If we had an OPP detachment here, we would have been billed because it was not equipment from that detachment. I know that for a fact from now, it was an OPP officer itself. Anyway, I'm thinking that this item should have been on the ballot. There should have been much more information presented on both sides. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Verner. Just a little reminder that every candidate, either despite whether it be the ward candidates or the mayoral candidates, can use the rebuttal cards to answer the questions or the answers of any candidate, despite who the question is intended to. Donc, on doit utiliser la carte pour réfuter, peu importe à qui s'adresse la question. Donc, let's now hear from Monsieur Leblanc.
So the policing issue, it's a strong issue. We've been hearing it since it started. As far as I'm concerned, if it would have been me, I would have done it a little different. Some of you won't agree, but I would have done it different. I would have educated the public. I would have showed, not just once, but many times, I would have showed you the budget of the OPP. I would have showed you the budget of our municipality policemen. And then I think the public should have voted on this ballot. And whether it would have been 50%, 60%, it would have been a done deal. This way here, we're spending taxes money in the courts, a lot of taxes money. I'm not too sure, maybe somebody can correct me with a red card. 325,000. We talked about roads a while ago. We could have fixed a lot of roads with 325,000. So once the council had made a decision on the OPP this year, it should have been done right there. Bias or not, the decision was made, OPP's in. I'm sorry to say, but we cannot spend that kind of money in West Nipissing out the door. It's impossible. So if it would come back to the carpet, I mean, are we going to have another council and vote on this again and spend another 350,000 out the door? I don't think so. We can't afford it, guys. It's no way. Thank you.
Merci, Monsieur Leblanc. Entendons, mesdames et messieurs, maintenant la réponse de Madame Joanne Savage. Madame Savage, s'il vous plaît.
I knew that question was going to surface. I have to say, number one, I've always been vocal on the process. Council received the proposal, the documentation, a video, a handout, financial analysis one night, November 14th. Council, at their subsequent meeting, December 5th, proceeded with a vote. There were questions and answers that were not provided to the elected officials sitting around the table. That was the issue. Twofold, the decision was made December 5th. There's two bylaws that were adopted. Now, we need to wait for the decision from the tribunal that will take place in October. If the tribunal accepts the position of the municipality proceeds with the disbandment. And what I've been hearing from people is that the next 4 years, people don't want the focus strictly on policing. They say that there's many other pressing issues that we need to focus and prioritize. As far as numbers and transparency, making sure people are duly informed, I've been advocating ever since the decision has been made, provide us updated numbers. What is the impact on your taxes next year? I do not have the answer.
Thank you, Madame Savage. And finally, the fourth mayoral candidate, et vous avez maintenant la réponse de M. Ronald Demers.
La question est en deux parties. On parle de comment on va supporter et comment on va payer. Alors, je vais traiter de la deuxième en premier. Qui va payer? Ben, c'est vous et c'est nous. Il n'y a rien qu'un contribuable, puis l'argent vient de là. Un peu d'aide du gouvernement provincial, un peu d'aide, mais à la fin de la journée, ça vient de la poche des contribuables. La deuxième question, c'est que je pense qu'on parle de respect, qu'on parle de confiance. We're speaking about respect and trust. You have to trust that the people that have voted in favor of or against, you have to trust that their knowledge, the information that they had was complete, that they made the right decision. To question their motives behind that decision, I'm sorry to say, but this is not the job, because when you question an awards representation, awards vote, you're questioning the people that elected them. And I don't think you can do that. I don't think it's nice. I don't think it's truthful to question the vote of a person. How will I support it as a mayor? I think the decision's been made. We have to move on. Let's see what the tribunal comes up with. It would be my hope, ultimately, perhaps sooner than later, that the police board would withdraw their request to go further on the appeal. Thank you.
We have a rebuttal. Nous avons une carte de députation présentée de la part de Mme Savage. 30 secondes, Mme Savage.
As mayor, on Tekamaya, being able to deal with issues at the table is making sure that everyone around the table has all the information, has the opportunity to question, has the opportunity to have a full-fledged understanding of the issues that are being dealt with. By not doing so would not be a fair, equitable, democratic process. So I do take offense when we say have trust. Yes, you need to work as a team, but you need to be able to dialogue as a team and feel freely to ask questions and obtain answers.
Thank you. Nous avons une autre carte de députation de la part de, puis je ne vois pas du micro devant moi. Monsieur Sénécal, 30 seconds, Monsieur Sénécal.
La question est à M. Demers. J'aimerais savoir quelle intention a, des plans qu'il a pour continuer avec les polices de OPP. Comment est-ce qu'il va se payer pour ça? C'est un gros montant pour le building. Ça va être un déficit pour jusqu'à 2021. Comment est-ce que tu vas faire payer pour ça? Laisse-moi savoir. Merci.
It was a question asked to Monsieur Demers from Monsieur Sénécal. If you prefer, or if you want to answer Monsieur Demers, you can use a rebuttal card. Going on, we'll ask. If the questions are asked, ça va prendre carte de députation afin de répondre.
No, I think when somebody asks you a question, the politeness is to answer. How are you going to pay for it? I think the costing proposal was very clear. That there's a capital expenditure, there's an operating expenditure, but when you look at the whole picture, you're talking about a long-term gain for short-term pain for long-term gain. Nobody said that your taxes were going to go up because of it. Like any capital projects, sometimes you have to borrow. There's a mortgage on it. You use the revenues from the municipality, from the provincial government, whatever it involves. But you have to look farther than that. You have to look at the capital project.
Thank you, Mr. Demers. I'm sorry, we have 30 seconds. Just to let all the candidates know, I know we have another rebuttal card, but just to let all the candidates know, moving on, we will not be able to use the rebuttal cards to ask a question to another candidate. I'm sorry for not letting you guys know in advance. I didn't know myself, donc on ne pourra pas poser de questions en utilisant une carte de députation. Donc nous avons un autre carte présenté de la part de M. Finley, am I right? Mr. Finley, 30 seconds.
Just in case there's any doubt, the OPP is the best police force in Canada and probably one of the best in the world. They're also the highest paid. Back in about 25 years ago, the government of Quebec made a decision to transition to the Surety of Quebec. It didn't cost the local municipalities anything. The Ontario government's been copping out for years. So why does West Nipissing enter into a deal to indebt itself for $10 to $15 million? It's going to be amortized. Do you know what that's going to do in your tax bill? That's not an investment. That's not an investment. The Ontario government should be spending that money, not your tax money.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. Appreciate the answer. We have a rebuttal first from Mr. Leblanc, am I right? He answered the question. Okay, so Mr. Anderson, votre réfutation, 30 secondes.
The problem Mr. Finley has is he doesn't understand he represents his constituents. His constituents are in favor of the OPP. It's not his decision to make.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. If there are no further rebuttal cards presented, donc si Monsieur Leblanc, oui, une carte de réfutation de la part de Monsieur Leblanc. Si vous pouvez porter attention, s'il vous plaît, aux candidats, nous n'avons pas beaucoup de temps pour attendre les réponses de tout le monde.
30 seconds.
Thank you.
Again, it should have been on the voters' vote. We would have voted, the public would have voted, well-educated. There would have been an expense at the end. As far as the savings, apparently, the council says there's $800,000 of saving at the end of the year. I mean, the council made a decision, should have been respected. We wouldn't have spent $325,000 in courts. Thank you.
Sénécal, une autre carte de réputation, 30 secondes, so another rebuttal from Mr. Sénécal, 30 seconds. I'd like everybody to listen, please. Thank you.
I'm not sure why we're in this mess right now, if we shouldn't be. There was no urgency for us to move forward with this issue. I don't know where this started. I don't know if it's a vendetta or whatever it is. It wasn't necessary. We shouldn't be here. And I hope we have, eventually we should have had a referendum on it.
Merci beaucoup, M. Sénécal. Si nous avons plus de présentation de carte de réfutation, passons maintenant à la prochaine question. So this next question is intended for the candidates from Ward 7 and 8. Donc la prochaine question sera présentée au candidat suivant et l'ordre de réponse sera aussi la suivante. Monsieur Normand Robert, vous allez répondre en premier. Monsieur Séguin, deuxièmement. Madame Courchaine, troisièmement. Monsieur Fortier, you will be the fourth to answer. And finally, Monsieur Sénécal, you will answer last. Here is the question. And again, it's one a little difficult to translate, so bear with me in English. Agriculture is very important to West Nipissing's economy. What will you do to improve things like land drainage, which is central to being able to successfully farm in Northern Ontario? Are you willing to increase funding? Donc, permettez-moi, l'agriculture, comme on sait, est très, très importante ici, dans le Nipissing Ouest. Qu'allez-vous faire afin d'augmenter ou d'améliorer de telles choses comme l'irrigation, qui est essentielle à l'agriculture dans le nord de l'Ontario? Est-ce que vous êtes prêt à augmenter les coûts qui sont dispersés pour ça? 60 secondes. Monsieur Robert en premier, pardonnez-moi.
Le support financier pour le système d'irrigation des fermiers, l'argent vient de la province et non pas de la municipalité. La municipalité, elle assiste les fermiers dans les applications, dans ces choses-là, mais l'argent vient d'être transféré par la province en dessous de différents programmes. Quand le montant brise, on a certaines pressions, on rencontre les ministres, les convaincre de continuer à en mettre, mais ce n'est pas l'argent local de la municipalité, ce n'est pas les payeurs de taxes locales, c'est un programme financé entre les fermiers et la province.
Thank you, M. Robert. Entendons maintenant la réponse de M. Séguin.
Bien, comme on le sait, le quartier numéro 7, c'est un site agricole. L'autre jour, j'étais au club d'amitié, j'ai demandé à tout le monde de lever la main aux gens qui étaient parentés avec des fermiers. Puis, il y avait, je pense, pas une personne sauf moi qui avait levé la main là-dedans. Alors, c'est absolument important de garder une vision sur notre quartier agricole. Maintenant, quand ça arrive à du land drainage et tout ça, Monsieur Robert, oui, vous avez de l'expérience sur ce côté-là, mais où est-ce que le conseil pourrait mettre un peu plus d'argent serait peut-être dans les rues ou arranger les choses d'une façon pour pas qu'il y ait tant d'eau qui rentre dans une section. Alors, nous autres, notre dépense serait sur le côté de faire du drainage d'autour des rues pour pas que ça coule dans les cours des fermiers.
Merci beaucoup, M. Seguin. Entendons maintenant la réponse de Mme Cochin. Mme Cochin.
Au point de vue agricole, je suis direct dans le cadre de l'agriculture en étant résidente à la ville. J'ai vu bien les propriétés qui avaient été abandonnées, qu'avec le système d'irrigation qui était géré par la municipalité, mais pas financé par la municipalité, j'ai vu bien des regains. Des regains au point de vue de... Il n'y a plus de terre abandonnée autant qu'avant. Farmers feed families. Puis c'est important de supporter du mieux qu'on peut. Continuer à pousser la province avec les programmations au point de vue de soutien à nos fermiers locaux, autant que les municipalités au complet. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Mme Cochin. Now let's hear the answer from Mr. Guy Fortier.
Well, both my grandfathers were farmers, and unfortunately, the farming gene skipped several generations. I couldn't grow a tomato if I had 100 acres. As far as drainage is concerned, it's very, very prescriptive by the province as to what the municipalities can and cannot do with regards to that. I think more importantly, the municipality should focus more on bringing young farmers along and getting them helping them get started on lands that are underused and underfarmed as they are. Sort of put a support network in place to develop young farmers. There's too many farms in the area where farmers are retiring and there's nobody to take their place. So we have to do something about that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fortier. And finally, let's hear the answer from Mr. Denis Sénécal. Mr. Sénécal, s'il vous plaît.
I've been speaking to quite a few farmers on my rounds, at my door-to-doors, and I can say that they're very disappointed with the service we're getting right now. There seems to be an issue with the drainage and culvert replacements. I'm not too familiar with the file. I will get up to it if I'm elected. I'm a fast learner, so I'll get up to it. But I think that we should support our farmers, that they should get the proper drainage and culvert replacements that's needed. I'm not sure why the farmers need to pay for this out of their own pockets. I'm not sure about this issue. And instead of getting into trouble, I'll wait for the file and I'll read it and I'll get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sénécal. We have no rebuttals. We'll move on to the next question. Donc, cette prochaine question est adressée aux candidats à la mairie. So the mayor candidates will answer this next question, as well as the candidates from Ward 6 and 8. Donc, les candidats du quartier 6 et 8, ainsi que les candidats à la mairie répondront aux questions. Les candidats à la mairie, sachez que vous n'aurez seulement que 60 secondes. So only 60 seconds instead of 90 to answer this next question. It was written in French, so I'll read it in French first and then bear with me to translate this one. Est-ce que la santé du lac Nipissing et Deer Lake est une de vos priorités, sachant que l'algue bleu-vert est présente dans le West Arm et à la vigne, et on ne sait pas où autre. L'algue bleu-vert est irréversible, puisque c'est un produit chimique. Comment pensez-vous agir face à ce désastre environnemental? So, is the health of Lake Nipissing and Deer Lake one of your concerns, knowing that the blue-green algae is present in the West Arm, La Vigne, and God knows where else? Blue and green algae is irreversible because it is a chemical product. How do you plan on facing this environmental disaster? 60 seconds. We will start, and I didn't give the order, I will right now. We will start with Mr. Demers. After that, Mr. Dunn, Monsieur Leblanc, Madame Savage, Mr. Finley, Monsieur Roberge, Mr. Anderson, M. Fortier, M. Sénécal et finalement Mme Cochine. 60 seconds. M. Demers, s'il vous plaît.
Whether it's Lake Nipissing or any other lake, you have to take care of your resources. Water, without water, we're dead. I think you have to determine exactly, and the experts are the ones that are going to be telling us this. You have to determine exactly what the responsibility of the municipality is towards that problem. It's a problem. We see it in the paper every day. There's some sources of water, drinking water that are affected. I think we have to let the expert tell us exactly what our responsibility is and what our commitment should be in order to help the situation.
Merci beaucoup, M. Demers. Passons maintenant le micro. Mr. Dunn, 60 seconds, if you will.
That's an environmental issue of monumental proportions, pardon the expression. This is a very important pollutant. We have to find out exactly where it came from. We have to contain it as best we can. This will be a project taken together with the municipal, the provincial, and federal levels because it affects our life. We cannot drink contaminated water. If it's untreatable, let's find a way to clean it up. And the best way we can do that is get the right information, work together, because it is all of us who are going to suffer the consequences. This is life and death, and it's in the lake. Let's all work together and clean it up, whatever way we can. Thank you.
Bien, M. Dunn. Nous avons maintenant la réponse de M. Don Leblanc.
So anyway, I'd like to congratulate whoever brought that questions over. It's a great question, and that's why we're here. Whether it's the mayor that's present here, or us guys are trying to get your vote for mayor. We're here to listen to you. The councilors are here to listen to you. You bring a question. We're not sure what to do with this. We need experts on this. That's where the municipality will get some help, and we'll get some experts in, and we'll fix the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leblanc. Passons maintenant le micro à Mme Savage. Mme Savage, s'il vous plaît.
All our lakes are valuable resources, and we want to make sure that we sustain them for the future enjoyment of our future generation. I've been sitting on the Nipissing Lake Stewardship Committee, where we have an agreement amongst 11 municipalities along with our 2 First Nation neighbors. The whole objective was pertaining to this issue that surfaced in Callander and West Arm. We've coordinated many meetings with Nipissing University, sectors with the Ministry of Ocean and Fisheries, M&R, and we've adopted strategies to mitigate and using the expert panel to assist us with that. If issues are surfacing in other lakes within the boundaries of our municipality, we should be adopting a lake stewardship committee in place. We need to resolve the issue before it becomes more serious, and we need to focus on prioritizing on saving those lakes to continue to enjoy them and for our kids to enjoy them. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Mme Savage. Écoutons maintenant la réponse de M. Paul Finley. Mr. Finley, if you will, please.
Thank you very much. Living on Deer Lake, I'm very concerned. Several years ago, I sit on the board of the Deer Lake Cottagers Association and have for many years. Several years ago, we spent a considerable sum of money to try to develop a program to maintain water levels and thus help the habitat stay healthy. Unfortunately, we weren't too successful, as the provincial minister responsible for this threw us roadblock after roadblock. And if we lose Deer Lake, it will be both an environmental and an economic disaster. Currently, the association, the Lake Association, and is working with 2 other lake associations. We're going to try to develop lake management plans. This is in the municipality's official plan, the provision of lake management plans for the municipality's lakes. Nothing's been done yet by the municipality on this, but I worked hard to keep that in the official plan when I was councillor before, and we are now going to be pursuing that course of action, and I think this will fit in just what the doctor ordered. So glad to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. Écoutons maintenant la réponse de M. Roberge. J'ai Roland Roberge ici. Je devine que c'est soit M. Roland Larabie ou Normand Roberge. M. Larabie? Ward 6.
Thank you. Lake Nipissing and Deer Lake, we need expert report on this issue. And then, and only then, can we look for a solution, and then with the municipality can educate its people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Larabelge, or Rolly Larabie. I'm kidding, I'm sorry about that. So now let's hear from Mr. Chris Anderson. Chris, please.
Just like the other panelists said, this is a major resource, Lake Nipissing and Deer Lake, and I think that the issue at hand can only be dealt with the MNR and the Ministry of Environment. I do also think that boaters moving their boats from lake to lake have to take some responsibility. When you leave one lake, you should wash and clean your boat fairly clean before entering into another lake. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Monsieur Guy Fortier.
Thank you very much. I'm going to differ slightly from some of my colleagues around on this table. Calling in experts and having them tell us what's wrong when we already know why the lake is the way it is really just reinforces the knowledge that we get blue-green algae blooms in all sorts of lakes for one simple reason. Runoff from untreated sewage getting into the bodies of water. As a municipality, we should be, and we are, or we're trying to tighten up the regulations on property owners so people cannot just pop up a building on a piece of property on the side of a lake and dump their sewage into the water. That has to stop. That's step one. Step two is stop blaming everybody but yourself for the problem.
Thank you, Mr. Fortier. Écoutons maintenant la réponse de M. Denis du Sénégal.
Merci. I think I agree with Mr. Finlay that this should be included in our official plan. It's a very serious issue. And I think it's not only the sewage that's going in, it's also the global warming of the waters. Our Lake Nipissing has increased, I don't know how many degrees, so it's affecting our biodiversity on the lake. So the solution, I don't think, is a local issue that we can solve locally, I should say. I think we need the experts from the provincial governments and federal governments, from the environmental offices, and I think that as a council we should promote and push for them to come and help us out here. I think this is more serious than a local issue. We should look at governments to help us out here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sénégal. And finally, écoutons maintenant la réponse de Mme Cochin. Mme Cochin, s'il vous plaît.
L'algue, n'importe quelle contamination qui se passe dans nos lacs, c'est pas strictement chez nous. C'est régional, c'est provincial, c'est global. Mais il est temps qu'on travaille ensemble pour trouver des solutions d'appui avec des idées concrètes à ce qu'on veut laisser à nos petits-enfants plus tard. Merci.
Merci, Mme Cochin. If there's no rebuttal, let's move on to the next question. Cette prochaine question s'adresse aux 4 candidats à la mairie ainsi que les candidats au quartier 5 et 7. So this next question is intended for all mayoral candidates as well as the Ward 5 and Ward 7. Here's the order of the answers. Mr. Dunn, you will answer first. Monsieur Leblanc second, Madame Savage, Monsieur Demers. Then we'll hear from Monsieur Denis Boisvenu, Mr. Henderson, Monsieur Roberge et en dernier, Monsieur Séguin, vous allez répondre à cette question qui est quand même assez pesante. Je vous demande de porter attention. There seems to have been a perceived lack of trust between certain councillors, the mayor, towards staff on certain files, i.e. procedural issues, policing, public works. Can you comment on that and provide your view on the difference between respective roles? Donc on demande, quelle est votre vue par rapport au manque de confiance entre des conseillers, la maire, des membres du staff, du personnel, par rapport à certains sujets tels que les procédures, les services de police et les services publics. Pouvez-vous donner vos commentaires par rapport à ceci? Donc, nous commençons avec Mr. Dunn. 60 seconds, everyone. Thank you.
All right, that's all part of transparency. We all have to work together. Don't go behind anyone's back. That's a trust issue. You can't work together, you shouldn't be in there. But what's done is done. It was a great passing of mistrust. The parties involved should receive some kind of a discipline. I know in business, if one member breaks the rules, you're kicking your hard hat down the road. It should be the same all over. If you don't trust somebody, how can you ever expect them to do something for you again? If you don't trust me, don't elect me. That's my advice. If you trust me, I'll keep that trust. If there's a problem,
thank you, Mr.
I'll let you
President.
know.
Appreciate the answer. Passons maintenant le micro à M. Leblanc. M. Leblanc, s'il vous plaît.
Well, being in business for 19 years, at one point I had 42 employees. À un temps, j'avais 42 employés. Il faut que tu t'accordes avec tes employés. You have to get along with your employees. My employees have differences. We sit down and we make a plan. And at one point we agree. And that's what you have to do. And then the mayor, of course, she has a council, or he has a council. And you have to, at one point, agree with the council, make a decision. The decision is passed to your administration board, your office. They make sure that the job is being done. Maybe like the sidewalks in Verner, I'm not sure. So, I mean, and if there is a problem, it's not the mayor's job or the councillors to go check on the sidewalks in Verner, or I'm using sidewalks in Verner, just, it could be anything else. It's the administrative board to report to us. Thank you. Thank you. And we look after the problem.
Thank you. Et comme il y a la réponse de Mme Sarah. Mme Sarah, s'il vous plaît.
In my opening remarks, I made reference that there were matters out of the ordinary and complex that we needed to deal with, and these surfaced in the last 2 years, and they weren't foreseen. However, I have to say, as far as roles and responsibilities, the elected officials are the decision maker. We make the rules, we make the decisions pertaining to policy. Staff implements those policies, and that's quite clear. I'm not new to council, I've been there for many years. However, due to the fact that the tools and the measures to ensure that we would respect the process on democracy was removed and abolished 2 years ago. Now, the government of Ontario is legislating and mandating a code of conduct to be implemented. And my philosophy has always been, if we want to make the best decision to meet your needs, everyone around the table should feel free to ask questions, obtain answers, and reach the best ultimate decision.
Thank you, Mme Sarah. Et donc maintenant la réponse de M. Ronald Demers. M. Demers, s'il vous plaît.
Trust brings people together. La confiance me rassemble. C'est ma devise. C'est pas moi qui ai posé la question. Je pense que c'est important qu'on ait un protocole de gouvernance qui est clair à tout le monde. Chacun a sa responsabilité, un rôle, une responsabilité. Everybody has an obligation to follow that code of conduct or that governance model. When a minister, politicians should get the hell out of the road. It's not by going from office to office or suggesting things or suggesting that the rules aren't being followed. There's a definite protocol that you have to follow, and that protocol is governance, and governance is what it means is that everybody has a job to do. Qui fait quoi? Alors, you have to follow that model. And if you don't, you get in trouble.
Thank you very much, M. Lemess. Écoutons maintenant la réponse. M. Denis Boisvenu, s'il vous plaît.
Merci. Je crois que ça a été répondu par nos candidats à la mairie, mais je crois que le problème numéro un, quand ça vient, ce qui s'est passé les dernières années, c'est faire sûr d'engager la personne qui est capable de faire la job. On a des personnes qui ont été engagées dans la municipalité qui n'étaient pas confiants dans leur emploi, donc obligés de demander les avis des autres. Et à ce moment-là, c'est facile d'être influencé. Si on a le bon candidat pour la job, je crois qu'on élimine tous les problèmes.
Merci beaucoup, M. Boisvenu. Now let's hear from Mr. Chris Anderson. Chris, if you will. I've got Anderson here on my sheet. I apologize, Chris. Chris?
Okay, so I can't really speak to the specifics, but it does seem that differences of opinion in council have spilled over and become personal to a certain extent. I think that council definitely needs to focus on issues and not people. We can all have, reasonable people can have differences of opinion and be at opposite ends of the spectrum on an idea, and that's fine. We need to work through issues and it shouldn't get personal. And everyone needs to get along. That's it.
Thank you, Chris. Sorry, Chris. So now let's hear the answer from Mr. Normand Roberge. Notre Roberge. Normand Roberge, I got it right this time. Monsieur Roberge, s'il vous plaît.
As a city member of the present council, I don't feel too comfortable discussing HR issue, and so therefore I'll keep my comments for myself.
Merci beaucoup, M. Roberge. Et finalement, écoutons maintenant la réponse de Jérémy Séguin. Jérémy, s'il vous plaît.
Okay, so perceived lack of trust. I think every single one of us are here today because of that perceived lack of trust. Over the last 2 years, we can honestly say that our council has been toxic. It has been spilling onto social medias, it has been spreading word of mouth. Faut arrêter ça. Ça, c'est la première chose. Faut débattre le sujet et non pas la personne, qui est ma seule règle dans On se parle Verner, let's talk. Quand on parle au sujet d'un manque de confiance, we're talking about a lack of transparency that's coming from our council members. One of those reasons that they aren't transparent is because they aren't communicating with you. If you do choose me in this region, in Ward 7, I will be quite a bit more transparent, as we've seen that I've been online. I will be a lot more respectful than what we've seen over the last few years, and I will give this microphone over.
Thank you, Mr. Séguin. Donc, mesdames et messieurs, nous allons avoir une dernière question. One last question. This will be intended for the mayoral candidates. Sachez que suite après cette question et les 4 réponses, chaque candidat aura 1 minute afin de venir au micro conclure. So every candidate will have 1 minute to come up to this mic and conclude and give their final words. Right after this final question, which is intended for all the 4 mayor candidates, you have 90 seconds this time. The order of the answers will be the following. Madame Savage, vous allez répondre en premier. Monsieur Leblanc, Mr. Dunn, you will be answering third, et Monsieur Demers finalement. So here's the final question, folks. What is your plan to address the increasing mental health / addiction and homelessness issues in the community? Donc, quel est votre plan afin de faire face aux problèmes de la santé mentale, d'addiction et de sans-abri qui augmentent à tous les jours dans notre communauté? On commence avec Madame Savage, s'il vous plaît, 90 secondes.
The municipality does have to adopt a community safety and well-being plan. Anyone who's verified Dr. Gabor Mati on YouTube, he's an expert physician in Vancouver that deals with mental health and addiction issue. We're not prone, we're not exempt from this in our community, but we really need to focus on prioritizing on resolving these issues. As elected mayor, I would make sure that all the stakeholders are at the table, from health to mental health to emergency services to school boards. It's an issue that needs to be addressed now, that also will be remedial for the drug issue that are in the street. Highly addictive, highly dangerous. We have to look at resolving this issue and working together and implementing this plan as quickly as possible if we want to prevent and save lives and make it for a promising future for our youth. Because right now, there's many people that are at risk. As far as shelters, yes, there are shelters for women in Sturgeon Falls. We have none for men. And I do realize that the mental health issue is also increasing, and that would be part of the community safety well-being plan.
Thank you very much, Mme. Verner. Écoutons maintenant la réponse de la part de M. Leblanc. M. Leblanc, s'il vous plaît, 90 secondes.
Merci. Well, it's a strong issue. We all know there's a lot of addiction in West Nipissing, all over actually, but I know for a fact we have quite a bit in West Nipissing. It's got to be addressed with the mayor. Mayor addresses to its team. We need a team, so we have a council. And after that, well, of course, whether any one of us here, of course we're going to take action. We have to. So we're going to go see the experts. And we'll address it to our MPs. And from there, well, I'm sure we'll get some answers. But it's not something either the mayor or the council will fix by themselves. It's impossible. We need outside help on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Leblanc. Écoutons maintenant la réponse de M. Russell Dunn. Mr. Dunn, please.
Okay, this is an issue that's very close to home for me. I have a daughter and a nephew who are both struggling with substance abuse. Both of them are clean, thank God. But substance abuse is in many forms. We can't do it as a mayor or a councillor. It starts at home. The pressure these kids are under is immense. You got to do this better. You got to do that better. It comes from peer pressure. They take the drugs from us, out of our medicine cabinets. They're easy to buy on the street. Doctors prescribe OxyContin at a phenomenal rate. There are other drugs out there that are not addictive. Toradol is one of them. High-power painkiller that is not addictive. I've been on it myself with a broken back. But the kids, we have to educate ourselves. We have to look for the signs. This is important. Cigarettes are highly addictive. We can quit, we start again. That's okay. Alcohol. You're an alcoholic. You're away from the booze for 6 months, you fall off. You're an addict on drugs. You're away from it for a while. You get on it, it kills you. Right now we've got kids dropping dead because of these drugs. This is education. That's how we fix it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dunn. And finally, last but not least, écoutons maintenant, mesdames et messieurs, la réponse finale de la part de M. Ronald Demers. Monsieur Demers.
Big city problems are here now. We have to deal with it. Don't think that your elected officials become geniuses just because they're elected. You have to go get the experts to tell you. We have some in this room that know exactly what the problem is. They can zone in on what the recommendations would be. I think as far as the council is concerned, the mayoralty candidates, everybody together, I think you have to determine exactly what our role should be and how we address it. And for that, you have to get the expert to tell you. The Board of Health, everybody that's involved in health delivery. Homelessness, same thing. You can't build infrastructure unless you get funding from the provincial government, the federal government. And you're talking about infrastructure, you're talking about buildings that will accommodate people, but you have to spend the money where the money is needed to be spent and not on perhaps projects that are not frivolous, but until you deal with people's problems, sometimes you have to make your priorities known and perhaps change your priorities in order to help people.
Thank you, Mr. Verner. Thank you, everyone. Un gros merci à tous les candidats d'avoir si bien répondu à toutes les questions. Thanks, everyone. Avant de conclure, before I give them their last minute to conclude and give their final words, I'd just like to remind everybody at the beginning, I told you that you would have a chance to mingle with the candidates à la fin de la soirée. Vous allez avoir une chance de jaser avec tous les candidats. Vous allez aussi avoir la chance de jaser avec les candidats qui se présentent comme conseillers scolaires. Donc, we have people in the room, in the hall today, who are candidates for the different school board councils. So I'd like to introduce, and you will have a chance to mingle with these gentlemen at the end of the night if you want. So please let me introduce former MP of Nipissing, Témiscamingue, ancien député, Mr. J. Aston. Et ancien conseiller de la ville de North Bay, so former councillor of the city of North Bay, Mr. Frank O'Hagan. Je vois aussi que nous avons dans la salle un candidat qui se présente comme conseiller scolaire pour le Conseil scolaire catholique Franco-Nord, monsieur ancien directeur et enseignant à la retraite, monsieur Marc Allard. If I am forgetting, this is the faces that I've seen, if I am forgetting anybody who is a candidate for those school boards, please let me know. I will mention you, I just don't want to be unfair. So you have a chance to mingle, vous allez avoir une chance de jaser avec ces trois messieurs. So, we will move on to the concluding words. Nous allons en ordre renversé, mais là je pourrais dire à l'envers avec ma page. On va commencer. No, I'm fine, it's just, I gotta go the reverse order, but the page, I read the words upside down, so. I'm just a high school teacher, I'm sorry. Donc nous allons commencer avec les mots de conclusion de la part de M. Denis Sénécal. M. Sénécal, s'il vous plaît, vous avancez.
Merci à la Chambre de commerce pour avoir organisé cette réunion. C'était beau. I'm a strong believer in the democratic process. And I feel tonight we've established that we do have a strong democracy, and I'm very proud to be here tonight. It's a great day for the democratic process. Thank you very much. Time constraints. C'est une bonne journée de système démocratique, c'est sûr. Time constraints make it difficult for really introducing our platforms. Mais si j'ai fait une promesse ce soir, c'est que je vais être accessible à tous les résidents. En disant cela, je vous promets que je vais organiser un séjour pour qu'on puisse se rencontrer à certains intervalles où on va pouvoir discuter de nos issues dans notre Ward 8. Ce qui se passe dans notre quartier. I promise you to be accessible to all. Having said that, I will organize a preset schedule to meet with the constituents and discuss the issues at hand.
I'm sorry, Mr. Sénécal. I feel bad one. I was told to do it, so don't meet me in the parking lot afterward. M. Sénécal est ici ce soir, je pense que c'est pour la so. Let's invite now Mr. Guy Fortier to give his final words. 1 minute, Mr. Fortier.
Thank you very much for everybody that came out tonight, and thank you for the chamber and for putting all this together and trying to corral all these wonderful people and try to get them to express their ideas. There's no such thing as a bad candidate on this table. Everybody has points of views and valid ideas, and it's our jobs to bring that energy together within the municipality and make it work. Now, I was asked at one point in time, describe why you're the best candidate. I can't do that. I know what I can do. I know what I have done. All the things that have gone on in the ward since I moved there and since I became councillor. The park, the new rink building, the new boards around the skating rink, all of these projects, the various roads that got freshly gravelled. Yes, I know my time is running out. Thank you very, very, very much, and we'll hope to see you out there.
Thank you very much, M. Fortier. Écoutons maintenant la conclusion de la part de Mme Paulette Courchain. Mme Courchain, s'il vous plaît.
J'aimerais commencer par remercier la Chambre de commerce, Dan aussi, pour le temps, tout le volontaire que vous faites. Je me présente. La raison pourquoi je me présente, c'est pour vous donner le choix. Enfin, c'est à vous autres de décider parce que si on a à réussir en tant que municipalité, c'est si on travaille ensemble. Puis il faut se rappeler que si on est élu, on travaille pour vous, avec vous et à cause de vous. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Mme Courchain. Écoutons maintenant les mots de conclusion de la part de Jérémy Séguin.
Well, in everything that I said earlier, I didn't even have a chance to tell you guys why I joined the race. So I'd like to start off with that. Hey. OK, la première chose, dans notre ward, Verner, on a la chance de rebâtir plein de choses. Un trottoir. Et aussi, on a une bibliothèque. Hein? Puis, maintenant que le bâtiment va passer au travers d'un renouvellement, c'est le temps d'insérer des nouveaux programmes pour notre jeunesse. Hein? Nos jeunes n'ont absolument rien à faire le soir. Puis, si que vous vous promenez dans le village de Verner, soit qu'ils sont en train de faire de la bicyclette dans les rues, soit qu'ils se promènent, soit qu'ils s'assoient au parc, puis ils ne laissent pas les petits-enfants jouer à cause d'eux autres sont assis dans le parc. Alors, moi, c'est vraiment de pousser, I really want to push, having a new library that has after-school programs, that has emerging synergy between the older generation and our newer generation, so that they can teach you guys how to play Pokemon, and you get to teach them how to play Crib. Thank you very much.
I think you'll have to learn how to play Fortnite, apparently. I don't know what that is, but I'm a high school teacher, so I heard a lot about it. Passons maintenant le micro à M. Robert. M. Robert, s'il vous plaît.
My primary goal is to improve the well-being of the residents of my community. I would be honored to have the opportunity to serve you for another term, as there are quite a few big projects to complete. J'en nommerai quelques-uns. On travaille sur améliorer l'intersection avec Highway 1775, compléter les réparations au bureau municipal, continuer à encourager un certain projet d'embellissement pour le village, donc il serait prématuré moi de donner les détails ce soir, mais ça devrait être confirmé d'ici un mois et demi. Et comme des raisons, continuer à se convaincre le Conseil dans les prochaines libérations budgétaires de compléter le fameux trottoir. Merci, bonsoir.
Merci beaucoup, M. Robert. Écoutons maintenant les paroles de la part de M. Roland Larabie. M. Larabie, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you very much, Dan, for doing a wonderful job tonight, getting the names mixed up a little bit, and also to the Chamber for hosting this debate. I have been very fortunate to represent Ward 6 and West Nipissing in the last 4 years. Made tough decisions for the benefit of this community and my ward. I had great rapport with staff allowing me to bring residents' concern for immediate attention. I understand the priorities of my residents. I would never participate in spending tax dollars like Paul Finley is doing, sitting on the police board, to go against the very democracy that made the decision to save money. I am hoping to continue to work with a mayor and council that respect each other and work to move West Nipissing in the right direction and the most cost-effective way. A vote for Rowley is a vote for action to solution. Thank you, merci, miigwech.
Thank you, Mr. Larabie. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can keep your attention, please. Now let's hear the final words from Mr. Paul Finley.
Mesdames and Messieurs, West Nipissing is a municipality made up of many communities. There are at least 7 in Ward 6 alone. In a like manner, there are 14,000 individuals with varied skills, talents, ideas, and energy who live and work here. To rely upon the ideas and brain power of 1 mayor, 8 councillors, and a couple of administrators would be selling your soul. There was a radio ad a few years ago sponsored by the Steel Company of Canada, which went like, "At Stelco, our product is steel, our strength is people." What can I say? This will be achieved through a total renewal of our strategic plan, which will involve everyone in every corner of the municipality. This will be done in tandem with the formation of community councils who will meet regularly to identify and propose solutions to local issues and priorities. As your councillor, I'll take these to the West Nipissing Council. And just for the record, by the way, we probably should have transitioned to the OPP 20 years ago. I supported the motion at that time, so I don't know where the big issue is being brought up tonight, because it's total fabrication. I was appointed by council, and I am representing the needs of the citizens sitting on that board. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Finley. Third and final candidate from Ward 6. Now let's hear the final words from Mr. Chris Anderson. Chris, please.
Yikes, after the train wreck of my opening statements, I'll be sticking to my notes for the final part. I'd like to thank all of the people for coming out tonight. I feel it's very important that councillors represent your constituents. You need to really listen to what the majority of your people want to do. As a councillor, you need to be honest and straightforward. You need to work hard for the majority of your ward, work well with the successful councillors in the other wards. We are a team appointed by our municipality, and we need to work hard for West Nipissing. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Let's move to the final words from the Ward 5 councillor or candidate, Mr. Chris Fisher.
Okay, so thanks to everybody. I'm not going to ask you to vote for me right now. I'm going to ask you to vote. So, and also some homework for everybody. Get your friends and neighbors to vote. In 2014, 44% of the eligible voters voted. In 2010, it was 22%. It's your local election. It's the people that have the most direct, day-to-day impact on your lives, your roads, your taxes, your garbage, that stuff. It also sends a message to levels of government and other communities that we're an engaged community. So get out and vote, because that's where it starts.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Écoutons, mesdames et messieurs, maintenant les mots de conclusion de la part de M. Denis Boisvenu. M. Boisvenu.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Chamber of Commerce. Yes, I do understand English, and I do speak it with quite an accent, though. Si je suis élu, je promets de travailler avec vous. Mais ce que j'aimerais savoir peut-être ce soir, qui vient du quartier 5 ici? Ah, bon, alors je vois. Très bien. Je veux être votre voix. Je veux travailler avec vous. Et que tout ce qu'on peut ressortir, le conseil, par contre, ça vient de vous. Et c'est à nous d'essayer de vous rendre le service pour égaler les taxes que vous payez. Merci. Bonne soirée.
Merci beaucoup, M. Boisvenu. Nous passons maintenant au candidat à la mairie. First to conclude, Mme Joanne Savage. Mme Savage, s'il vous plaît.
En premier lieu, je veux remercier tout le monde pour m'avoir accordé le privilège d'avoir travaillé pour vous pour les 20 années, et j'espère avoir le vote de confiance pour continuer pour les 4 prochaines années. I've been devoted, committed, and I know that I have a lot of knowledge, a wealth of knowledge. We have a lot of critical issues that we need to work on. I want to make sure that we have the best ultimate IPM in West Nipissing. We're going to be on the map. We're going to work for the seniors. parks. We're going to redevelop Au Chateau. We need assisted living. We need to look at programs for our youth and activities in each community. We need to work on our roads. We need economic development. Who's got the skills, the leadership, the knowledge, doesn't need training, but to work with an excellent team of councillors and move this municipality forward? Vote Joanne Savage. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Mme Savage. Mot de conclusion maintenant de la part de M. Donald Leblanc. Mr. Leblanc, if you will, please.
Bon, merci à tout le monde d'avoir venu. J'aimerais remercier, I would like to thank Mr. Fortier for his comment. There was no harm meant when we raised those little cards. That's why they were on the table. We had an objection, we raised a card. So there was no harm meant. Thanks for the red card. And you guys should put $10 for 10 seconds or you will make money. Anyway, guys, we're all here for the same reason. We're here to help you guys out. We're here to help West Nipissing. We're here to make things much, much, much better. So if you want to change, of course, you're going to vote differently. If you want to stay with the same, you're going to stay with the same. So if you want honesty, open-minded, I'll be there for you. You vote for Don. And I guarantee you we'll get things done. Because we'll work as a team. There will be no differences. We won't spend money for nothing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leblanc. Écoutons maintenant les mots de conclusion. Final words from Mr. Russell Dunn.
This is off the cuff again. I am here because I love this community. I am here because I think we need a change. We need a change in a positive direction into the future. We have the people who were before us who are now retired. We are the future, and the ones who follow us will be our future. So we need change. We need jobs to keep them here. We need to promote the tourism in this area. All the small businesses, the farmers, the guy down the street with the convenience store. If we bring in employers, more people come, the demand on the smaller employers increases. He has to stay open longer and hire more people. Everybody's working. My commitment is to try and bring change, new employers, and boost our tourism. This area is beautiful, and I want to exploit it to all our advantage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dunn. And finally, le dernier candidat à conclure, M. Ronald Demers.
Au temps des élections, nous avons besoin de prendre un pas de recul et regarder les faits et se poser quelques questions. Sommes-nous satisfaits du climat qui règne à l'Hôtel de Ville? Est-ce que d'avoir des conseillers et conseillères fut une expérience plaisante et mémorable? Has the process of decision making been done with pride, respect and trust? De ma perspective, de ce que j'entends, ce que je vois, ce que je lis, les commentaires ramassés durant la campagne, la réponse est non. Not for the public, not for councillors, not for administrators, not for staff. Le 22 octobre ou plus tôt, vous serez demandé de choisir un maire et des conseillers qui auront comme seul mandat de travailler ensemble pour le bien des Nipissing Ouest. Vous aurez des choix à faire. Si vous jugez que tout va bien, vous pouvez choisir le statu quo. Sinon, vous avez d'autres options. I offer my time, my expertise, my knowledge of good governance to serve you as mayor. Merci pour votre présence, bonne réflexion et bonne fin de soirée.
Merci beaucoup, M. Demers. Merci à tous d'être parmi nous ce soir. So this is the end of the debate for tonight, la fin du débat d'élection. J'aimerais que vous donniez une bonne main d'applaudissement à tous les candidats qui sont parmi nous ce soir. Thank you for all the candidates. It's not easy. It takes a lot of courage, time, prep. I'm very impressed. Thank you very much. I'd especially like to thank all the members of the Chamber of Commerce, tous les membres de la Chambre de commerce, pour avoir organisé les deux soirées, those two nights. A lot of work, a lot of time, really effective. It went super well because of all these people at the table right here. Un gros merci. Et finalement, un merci surtout, finalement, très très spécial de par même à the end of the night. La raison pour laquelle nous sommes ici, c'est pour vous. Les gens sont ici pour vous, c'est pour vous informer. It's congratulations to all of you decided to inform yourselves. Mais d'applaudissements pour vous autres. Je fais un dernier appel et la dernière date pour poster vos votes par l'entremise de la poste est le 26 septembre. Donc, the date to mail in your vote now. Am I wrong? They're wrong, I'm just a messenger. C'est pas le 26, c'est quoi? Ouais? 11 octobre. You can mail in your votes. Vous avez le droit de poster vos votes. Je ne vais pas déterminer de date parce que je ne veux pas confus, je ne suis pas certain. Pas que je ne te fais pas confiance, Suzanne. Let's go with the 11th of October. I'll ask you to check. And on October 22, you have the right to vote. So je demande à tout le monde d'exercer votre droit civil, pas seulement votre droit civil, par contre votre duty. Your final civil duty vote on October 22nd. Merci tout le monde. Bonne soirée.